At Service Logic, we believe the future of the skilled trades lies in training and development. And that's why we created The Edge, a platform dedicated to empowering our greatest assets, our people. From hands-on training to leadership development, Edge is where technicians grow their skills, expand their opportunities, and build lasting careers. Because when people succeed, our companies, our customers, and our industry thrive. This is The Edge. This is the future of the skilled trades.
I chose iConnect training equipment because I already previously had some iConnect training equipment. And I was very pleased with the equipment I had, the quality of it, and pre-designed labs that came with it. So when I expanded it more into the catalog, I decided I wanted to get this refrigeration trainer in my program to expand my program. My experience so far using the TU-155 has been a pretty good experience, especially my second year students. And the light bulb kind of syndrome goes off when you see that little flicker in their eye and they're, oh, I got it. That's what us instructors, what we look for is the I got it moment. And this helps me to the I got it moment with my students, and that's what's my goal to achieve.
We are Daikin, the #1 global indoor comfort provider. Our innovative home and building solutions are engineered with energy efficiency and sustainability at their core, ensuring improved indoor air quality for all. From heating and cooling to ventilation, air purification, refrigeration technologies, and connected devices, we're at the forefront of technology, addressing the pressing challenges of sustainability.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Did You Know, the ESCO HVAC show. I'm Jocelyn. I'm here with Dirk Naumann and Todd Kler from Visual 3D Academy. How are you?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. We are good.
Yeah. So today we're going to be talking about Visual 3D Academy and sort of what's new and how we're going to use it for education.
And if you wouldn't mind, tell us where you're joining in from. I'm joining from some sunny Southern California. Dirk, I know you're not quite at home right now. You're traveling, but where you joining in from?
Yeah, I am tuning in from the cold tundra of Minnesota.
Ooh.
Wow. Why it's so cold up there, huh?
Yeah, so we're from Illinois. We drove to Minnesota for Easter and drove through an ice storm, and it's probably about 30 degrees outside.
Wow.
Nice. Definitely different than here in California. So, Jocelyn?
Yeah, I'm joining from Greenwood, Indiana. It's about 70, 74 right now. So sorry that you're in Minnesota.
Yeah. Well, great. Yeah, it looks like we've got a few people joining in from us. Some from the team. Renee, good afternoon. And I'm going to imagine that would be Howard.
Howard, yeah.
Yeah. So good to see you. But we're here to talk about Visual 3D Academy. For those of you who did go to AHR, you probably may have saw us at the booth there. If you didn't, maybe even went to the Educator Conference a month later, and was just last week. And so that was a great show. So thank you to the ESCO team for hosting that. It was wonderful, and it was a great show. Yes, woohoo! And so if you didn't stop by the booth there, we're here to show you what Visual 3D is about and what it can offer. So Dirk, tell us a little more.
Yeah, Todd, if you would, just please start with the entrepreneur journey on the video on the webpage.
Sure. Let's see if I can get that to play.
Okay. No sound.
Well, that's not good.
It looks like it's on.
Well, I don't know why the sound's not playing, so I guess we can
Okay. Well,
avoid that.
I hope the sound plays when I start displaying the videos on the platform.
Me too.
So, but with that, the entrepreneur journey started with a hospital visit of all places, and there was an oversized iPad on the wall, and you could go dissect the human body. And so I went in there and started tearing apart the human body. If you remember the encyclopedias from the 80s where you had the transparency slides, it was kind of like the same thing, but it was so much more interactive. And with that, that's where the aha idea came from. And this is what the HVAC industry needed. I could learn that much about the human body in such a short time with 3D models. And I've been modeling for some time. I didn't know how I was going to use the models and what could be done with them. And that was the moment I went down the journey of getting into the programming, the modeling, the texturing. And so, but yeah, it's been a journey. That was probably 3+ years ago. So this platform has taken 3 years to develop.
Okay.
Nice.
And I was on the show probably, I'm going to say 1.5 years ago, maybe 2 years ago, talking about this vision. And if you signed up 2 years ago, I assure you it has evolved much more. So I'm going to share my screen.
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind walking us through what Visual 3D is about.
And maybe there it is, entire screen.
There we go.
So the webpage is visual3dacademy.com. And the video I would like everyone to watch, the entrepreneur journey. It's this video under About Us. And since we're there, you may recognize these faces here. So I do want to talk about these 3 individuals, or the 2 individuals, the one to my left and the one to the right. Me looking at the screen, Said was my tutor. He was the gentleman I found to teach me how to 3D model. And him and I talked for probably about a year after me learning how to model and texture. We were just kind of talking about the entrepreneurial journey and how we were going to monetize this and what we were going to create. And then, as I like to share with ESCO, so I think it was 3 years ago, I pitched this idea at the HVAC Excellence. And you know how you have that lost puppy dog that you feed at the door that never goes away?
Yeah.
That's kind of how I tell the story. I'm that lost puppy dog, and I was, knocking on the ESCO's door and pitching this vision to them. And I think they finally joined partnership because I wasn't going to go away. That's the way I tell the story. Renee Howard may have a different story, but ESCO is an equal partner in this business venture, and that is just a awesome feeling to have such a great group of people behind this platform. So, and then if you want to get into the platform, you'll get a 7-day free trial. Go to the free trial, sign up for it. The web is much further along than the apps. The Android app is much further along than the Apple app. So anybody who knows anything about apps, Apple has a much more difficult process to get it posted than Android.
Yes, I do.
So, but yes, oops, I was playing with this earlier, so let me get out of that. So when you log in, you're going to come to the dashboard. We'll give a little bit more about that later, but the 3D models. The 3D models are more developed than anything else on the platform, since this is what we were working on from the beginning. You can see there are a bunch of models. We're going to go into the heat pump. And zoom in. And so we have a model tree over on the left. If we want to hide the panels, we can hide the panels. If we want to remove the coils, we can pull the coils off to the side. And we can just tear down into anything and everything on this.
Nice.
And then the controls down here. Oops, I'm not going to go there. If you select one, let's say the compressor, let's go to the actual accumulator. We'll select the accumulator, and then we have a short description, and then we can go to the model. We can break this down even further. A lot of people maybe haven't cut into it. So from an educational standpoint, you don't necessarily need to cut into every component because you can just tear down into the component now. I do advise that have students tear into things, but they cannot take that equipment home with them. It would be difficult. Obviously they could, but then we have the videos that go along with it. And this is what's, I hope we can share a sound on this. So let me know if you
can give it a try. I don't know if it'll work.
I'm going to try to change your mic.
Okay. If you wouldn't mind, that'd be great, Jocelyn.
Is it? Hang on. So this is streaming right now. I probably jumped ahead too quick. Give it a second. It will play. I promise you. This should play. Well, this is embarrassing. Let me try this again. Bear with me. Can you hear it?
Not unfortunately, no.
Okay. Well, the point is that these are some very high quality images, and we're going to let that go there. I'll hear it. But here's the point of Visual 3D. And I want to really stress this. This is not made to replace instructors. This is not made to replace hands-on in the lab. And this is not meant to replace textbooks. This is to help augment all three of those. This is a platform where if an instructor is talking about something, the has the ability to take it home now and learn on their own time. It's just another tool. So again, I want to stress, it's not to replace instructors, hands-on or textbooks. It is a tool to help students, learn theory on the outside. If it's something they don't understand, they can go in here and they can learn a lot more. But how do you, when you start talking about components in a heat pump, we can reset this. I'm going to pause this. Please watch the videos. It's the streaming and the bandwidth that's given the difficulty, but I promise you it works well. But back to the model. As an educator, and by the way, I teach at a distributor. I teach technicians. And when we take parts and we start passing the parts around, one of the problems that we have is I will take a part, I will pass it around the classroom, and the part just magically just stops right in the middle of the room. And so with that, the instructor can be using the web page or the web, Visual 3D web, and they can project it. And then the participants, the students or technicians, then they can be on their phone. So it's real-time training in sync with everybody. Does that make sense?
Yeah, when you say phone, Dirk, you mean there's an app, as you mentioned, that goes with this, and you're able to dissect these components apart with the app. So example, the way I like to describe it is we were at the show and we were presenting this as well. And I like to present it as, hey, have your students, as you pointed out, have your students cut into compressors, old compressors. But the day before, simply just go and say, go home, take your homework, go tear this compressor apart, and we can play with it. And then tomorrow we're going to come back to the lab. We're going to actually tear in the compressor, and it kind of gets, again, it's not there to replace it.
That is correct. And so if they come into the class much more prepared, what's that going to do to the learning experience of the students?
It's going to exponentially make it better.
Correct. And if we're all learning from the same material and it's just visual right now, right? We're watching it.
Mhm.
And we kept every video by design under 3 minutes. So they're just quick videos. So when the instructor is teaching, what's the students going to be doing now? They have the visualization, they've heard the words, they've seen the videos. What's going to happen is the students are going to start asking some very high-end questions to the instructor.
And speaking of questions, if you have questions here for us, we'll definitely entertain your questions. Would you mind showing us the dashboard and what Visual 3D Academy is all about, Dirk?
Yeah. So yes, I want to talk about the visuals first.
Fair enough.
And so I've been really reading a lot about the psychology of brain and how the brain works and how we interpret information. And we do it with our senses, the 5 senses. But in the presentation that I gave in HVAC Excellence, we take words. We take 26 symbols, and we take these symbols called the alphabet, and we make words out of them. And when we have a page of just words, what's the retainment? What are you going to retain after you read that page?
5 to 10%.
5 to 10% within 24 hours, after 24 hours. But if we throw a picture in there, how much are you going to comprehend? How much are you going to retain after?
2 to 3 times that 10%.
Yeah, it's around 50%. And then if we can add 3D models imaging to it, into the page, and we have this. So you're going to take your phone out, and I pick on Jason Abju, his furnace book. So and because I've done this already. So in one of his pages, he has a molecule, or use the molecules behind you, the R12 on that side over there. Yep. There you go. When somebody sees that, a technician sees that, what's their brain going to do first?
Well, they're going to just kind of tune out. I don't get it.
I'm not a chemist.
Yeah.
I didn't go to chemistry. I can't learn this, or whatever they may think. Yeah. But now with the phone, with the augmented reality of what we're doing, you can scan that molecule, and then we can give you a very short description of what it's doing. And then when you go read those 26 symbols, the words on the page, what is that going to do for retaining that information?
It's going to
skyrocket it. And so, I've been doing this, and the amount that I have learned just in HVAC, and I am a commercial tech support for a distributor. And just the amount of information that I've learned, it's kind of like what I forgot, but I'm going back and looking at the elementary 101 stuff and how easy it is for me to retain it. It's just amazing. And so this is what we're trying to do, bring the textbooks back. As I always share, the engineering for HVAC has gone exponential. Yes. And I believe technicians have been getting having more knowledge in the field just by organically, because of the equipment is more highly engineered. So I think the technicians now are much more knowledgeable than they were 20 years ago. If we go back into the 90s, how much knowledge did you need to to produce heat and cool? And I don't believe your objective should not be heat and cool. Your objective should be getting that system to the most efficient,
optimal
performance as possible. To make heat, to make cool, that's easy. But that should not be our objective. It should be efficiency. And then back to the visuals. Right now, everyone thinking, look around. How many data points is your brain processing at this moment?
Several, as I look at the screen.
Yeah.
1 billion. If you're looking out into any scenery, your brain is processing 1 million data points, all the visualization. Think of all the textures. Think of anything and everything that you normally don't see, but your brain is seeing it. It is taking it in. And so with that, visualization is a very powerful tool for learning. It's what we do every single day. Our brain processes more visually than it does hearing. And then it does with any other sense. It's visualization. So being able to tie this all in is what we're trying to do.
Speaking of visualization, so let's show us the dashboard and
Yes.
Visual 3D. And again, if anyone has any questions, please drop them in the chat. We'd love to answer them for you and answer your questions as best we can.
Sure. Let me find the page.
There it goes.
All right. And we have all sorts of models, by the way. I was just showing the heat pump. We have the indoor units, evaporator coil, airflow 90%, air handler. So, but back to the dashboard. So the dashboard, we're going to start at the top. My development plan. And you can see the screen, correct?
Yes, we can.
So my development plan, this is a self-assessment right now. We're going to integrate multiple AIs into the platform. And for the record, we do not use AI for content creation. Everything that we create is done by hand. We've tried the AI creation. We have not been successful, and I have not seen any successful AI generation of HVAC on social media anywhere. It's always, it's called AI hallucination. It's never going to be right. So, but my development plan is just a self-assessment. It's going to be into a AI knowledge evaluator, and it will help you determine your strengths and the areas of improvement. And then we have our student library. I'm sorry, Visual 3D library. Visual 3D library is where all of our assets are going to live. It's a repository of everything. And so if you want to go into refrigerant 101, you can come in there, and you want to watch graphical phase of change. And since you can't hear it, I'm just going to advance it. But there's going to be questions. If you get the question wrong, it's going to give you a little bit of a description. According to the video's definition, what specific amount of energy constitutes 1 BTU? So, Todd, what's the answer? Right there.
You put me on the spot. Yeah. 1 degree Fahrenheit. Yeah.
And we are so nice, and we love students so much that we shuffle the answers when you get them wrong. And not fair. So it's just a library. Since you can't hear the sound, there's no point staying on there. Oops, I just went there. Excuse me. But these are interactive videos. And we put Jason's, since we've been picking on Jason, we put his the workbench series where we do work on the bench. So we're going to have a lot more of these live parts that are coming. Going back to the dashboard. And as an instructor, this is a cool feature we just added, we're working on. We can go into customize assignments, and we can create an assignment. Let's say we want to push these over. We're going to call this assignment number 1. Let me spell that correct. And I'm going to push these over to the right. And I'm going to save and publish. And then all of your students will now be able to see this assignment number 1. And the instructor will be able to see whether or not the student has completed this work. And what we're working on next is you're going to be able to put your own URLs in there. So I like Vimeo over YouTube. YouTube will work. The reason I like Vimeo, because I don't want to watch all the advertisements.
Yep.
If you put your URL in, then you can assign that to the students. And then we're going to also have a thing that's called mind mapping. This is not something that we created. This is something that already exists out there. But let's say you have 30 videos. You have 30 videos on your public website or YouTube. You can drop your URLs into this, and we're going to mind map them for you. So if a technician comes up here, and it would actually be in the library, and if he types in pressure, and I don't have anything there, let's go with, refrigerant. I type any of the keywords that you mentioned, it's going to take them directly. So if you want to see the static pressure, you type in static, and it's going to filter the word out. And if you have 20 videos on there, it's going to take you to that like 2-minute segment of that video. So you can scan all the videos and just pull out that 2-minute segment, as opposed to watching 20 hours of videos and trying to get one specific topic. So we're taking it down. And we did this for Jocelyn. I don't know if you've seen that. Did you know that we did it with your video with the Hitachi with Clifton's install?
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
So, but you could type safety in there, and then when you're sitting at the table with the safety and the tools, we could see it would take it directly into that. So it just makes a bunch of micro trainings on there.
Very cool.
Yeah. And then the last thing I'm going to show on the dashboard is we're going to have the certification. This is going to be ESCO. So understand that Visual 3D will not we will host the certification, the training. We're in the process of doing this, but it's going to live with ESCO still. That is their product, but it's going to be on the Visual 3D platform. And then let's talk about Visual 360. This is a project that I've been working on for the last 6 months. I was really, really hoping to have this much further along, but because of all of the coding and all of the development, this is a project that I don't want to say I got in over my head with, but this is really cool. And I'm very proud. The whole team is proud of this. So what it is, we've all seen the virtual reality tours from realtors, correct? This is what this is. That's all this is. This is that on really souped up. This has got a Hemi in it. And with that, we can come up here. I put the blueprint. You can navigate through the blueprint. There's going to be hot spots. This is the thermostat. In order to get the system in cooling, you have to give the thermostat a call for cooling. And then you have to go down. And now it's a call of cooling. Now the outdoor unit and the indoor unit are going to respond based off of the thermostat. So you have to navigate around. You can do this either from the arrows. Let me go right there. Or you can do it from the blueprint. And you can see that we have the ductwork labeled. Visual 360 will be a platform to teach from. We're not teaching how to size ductwork. This is an existing house. When I was in the field, I would have to get a piece of paper. I would have to draw the ductwork out. Then I would have to get the ductulator out and then use the knowledge of the ductulator in order to see why there was a hot room or a cold room. And this is the live environment. If you want the ductulator, you come and we have the ductulator built into it. Again, this is something you teach from. We're not teaching you how to use the ductulator, but now we have this real environment you can go in, and we're bringing the building science into this. We're going to have the blower door, the duct blaster in here. But yeah, and we're going to have quite a bit more. Let me get back to the tools. We'll have the tools up here. So this will be a little screen. I know this is kind of small right now. We are going to make this a little bit bigger. And then on the electrical, we brought the electrical in, and this is going to all be in sequence with the thermostat. So we're working on this still right now. This is the next product that's going to be out.
Wonderful. So I see a few things that say coming soon. What are those?
So Visual Quest will be the gamification. That will be app based. So it's going to be multi-user. Instead of people running around with weapons, they're going to be running around diagnosing HVAC.
Okay.
So the team is really interested in making this, but it's coming. It's coming. We've already done the R&D. Speaking of R&D, we're bringing geothermal into the platform, and we're in discussions with a ductless manufacturer, and we're going to start bringing ductless into this.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's a personal development plan. Can you go back to the individual development plan?
Yep, we talked about that. That's the AI, the knowledge evaluator.
Right. Can you show what it looks like real quick?
Yeah. It's a self-assessment. Let me share screen.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, so I'm going to reset. So it's a series of questions. So I just reset it, and you can download the form. And you come in, you answer the questions to the best of your knowledge. And I'm not reading the questions, obviously.
No, he says that he's interested in seeing the combustion analyzer incorporated. Yeah, Douglas, that's something that's going to be coming down the pike soon.
Yes, yeah. So these are the topics, and because we're doing geothermal now, we're going to add water analysis in here.
Okay.
So remember, this is made for career centers and schools. Right now, this is not being developed for technicians in the field. It can be used for technicians in the field because I believe that we're all teachers. We're all educators. No matter where you're at in your career, we're going to be teaching. Maybe we need to teach homeowners. And I know there are many technicians who have used this to show the homeowners what's wrong with the compressor. It gives the visual to the homeowner. But with the knowledge evaluator, we're going to add water analysis on there. You can see the combustion knowledge on there. And I've shared the AI with Todd and other people, what we're doing with it. But I'm debating whether to share this. They say if you're thinking about not sharing it, you shouldn't share. But if you know me, I'm going to share it. But this is an obstacle that we're coming up against. So this is being designed for schools, and if a technician, somebody who gets into this and starts playing with the AI and the knowledge evaluator, and once you have a tool, and I did not think about this. This was brought to me. All right, so we invested into this already.
Okay.
And now we're like, how do we release this? Because once you make a tool and the tool starts identifying areas of improvement, what's that going to do?
Well, it's going to make you want to improve those areas.
All right. Todd, you must be out of the field for a while. How can a machine tell me what I don't know? That machine's wrong. All right. What's that going to do to the platform? Jocelyn, what if I told you didn't know how to work Restream? What would you think of me?
You don't know what you're talking about.
Exactly. And so that's one of the obstacles we're trying to overcome with this. And, it's pretty cool, but we have to be careful. And, we want to be fair, and we're not trying to call anybody out, but it's probably, there's going to be mistakes in it. But so we're very reluctant in releasing the whole knowledge evaluator, and we're just going to use it as a self-assessment right now. So you mentioned that there's a 7-day trial if you go to the website, to Visual 3D. Now, what is after that 7-day free trial? What does it cost? Is it per seat? Is it a package? Is it
How does it work?
Yeah, so the individual license is, was it $12.95 a month, and you go to the App Store, the Google Play, and you will purchase it that way. If you're now I have to show this.
Yep.
If you're a contractor, or I'm sorry, a school, let me get out of there. Go to the product page. You can start your free day trial. Please use the web right now and just mention the ESCO Did You Know show, and we'll give you till June 30th.
Wow.
That is our projected date of having a lot of these assets released.
Okay.
So we don't want to take anybody's money until June 30th. But you have to mention Did You Know show.
All right.
And hopefully that's not a million people, but yeah, but please do. But a classroom package, you can come here, you can hit calculate. It's $80 per student for a year. And then what we're going to do is after the student graduates, we're going to be giving them a free year when they go into the field. The instructor is going to have to release it. We'll have a toggle switch on there, and that will be up to the instructor because the school is purchasing it, right? It does belong to the school, but the instructor will have the ability to toggle a switch, and the student will be able to have his own account for a year afterwards. So depending on the number of students you have, come and you will get the quote. The quote will come from ESCO. If you click this button, you automatically get the quote, and you can take it to the procurement, and you can turn it in. If you want the year annual, again, you hit this 7-day free trial, you sign up from it, you will get an estimate. It's just an estimate, it's a quote. But if you want the monthly, that is handled through the Apple and the Google Play Store. So scan these with your phone, and that will just take you in. Warning though, the Apple will not work yet. I think we're 2 weeks away before that gets posted.
Yes, they're a little behind from Android. So speaking, before you navigate away there, tell us about the seats and how the licensing worked. So if you had a cohort of, and you had, say it's traditional college, a fall semester, and then you have a spring semester, but yet you had some individuals, John Smith and Jane Doe, that dropped off. Can you replace those individuals with somebody else?
Yes. So the instructor, and I am logged in on my instructor. I'm actually going to get out of that. I don't know whose emails those are there. But yes, when you go into user management, you can remove and add users. When you buy 10 license, then those licenses stay active. They're your license for a year.
For the entire year.
Mm-hmm. And we had somebody who at the HVAC Excellence, and this is something that we're looking into because the end of the fiscal year for school, we know that's June 30th. And if there's some, money that is left over and they want to buy 20 license, but they only have 10 students, so they're buying into the next year, that's fine. We're going to have it in there where they don't get activated until the license email goes into that, and then that's what activates the license key. Okay. And if instructors are going to start adopting this, because there's a hierarchy, the instructors, we're going to be giving the instructor license away for free if there's students there. That way, those license keys are always good because it rolls off of the hierarchy one of the instructor.
Perfect.
So we're giving all of the control over to the instructors.
Okay. Well, Jocelyn, I've been watching the chat. I didn't see a whole lot of questions come in, but I don't know that if we have any other anything else to show. But if you do have questions now, please let us know. We can answer them. Anything else to add, Dirk?
No. Just stay tuned. There's a lot coming, and just great appreciation to the team. We have a wonderful team. The programmers on the back end, the developers, what we're doing.
Ah,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh, thank you, Renee. This is why I had to bring Esco in, because my feeble brain can't hold all the information in. So the books that we're talking about creating is, we're going to create modules, and they're going to be based off of the components that we have. So the heat pump that you've seen there.
Okay.
These are not going to be teaching theory. These are going to be modules, and we're going to start integrating these pictures into many things. But we want to create components. We want to create something where the students can take home and they can have a resource to learn on their own. And I don't mean this to be negative here, but the click next technology. All right. I am not a fan. I cannot learn by reading words on the screen and clicking next. And so we've all heard of this Bloom's taxonomy. The knowledge and understand is down at the bottom. We're passing knowledge in order to remember to understand it. And there are a lot of people out there that have videos out there to pass knowledge, but they're not interactive. And so the next, if you've never heard of Bloom's taxonomy, go up, Google it, and then the next thing is going to be analyze, evaluate, and I'm forgetting one, apply. And so everything that not everything, because we are going to have some of that click next, but that is not going to be the foundation of what we're doing. It's the interaction that we want to develop on, but we have to pass the knowledge on. So as I said, this is a platform to teach from. We will have ways where students can learn from it, but the idea is to keep the instructor as the key tool for the students to learn, and we're just another tool for the instructor and the student. But interactivity, getting away from the click next technology. I think we all know what we're talking about, the click next technology.
It has its place.
It does, and there's nothing wrong with it. But if you're going to try to educate me 100% on click next,
it's not going to work.
It's not, and it may work for other people. Yeah. All right. But I want interactivity. That's me.
Yeah.
And more to what Renee was saying is be on the lookout for the books. Yeah, we're going to make these books come alive with all these models, and that's the beauty, especially with the app. You're reading a book, you have your phone sitting next to you, right? And you go and you blow up the compressor right there, and you can interact with this. That's really really cool.
Yeah, it's kind of digressed there. I'm a little passionate about this.
But. Well, anyway, thank you for joining us. Anything else to add? No?
I do not.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us on the ESCO Did You Know show. See you next week.
Thank you.
Bye-bye now.